really start recording. I didn't press the record button, but now I have, so.
All right.
And Elizabeth joined us, so hey. So.
By the way, this is a temporary background because this isn't my house. This is my cousin's house. So.
Okay.
Temporary background here.
But hey, that's the mobility of the class.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to have to borrow the first few things from the homepage because I don't have all of the course information on hand right now because the textbooks are at home at the moment. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because you're over there. Well, the thing is that we're going to be discussing the, the lecture for the most part.
Oh, okay.
And then going over Federalist 51.
Oh, fun times.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I took AP Gov, so we know this shit. Hey.
Oh, okay, so that's
Federalist
why you're
51.
more knowledgeable than...
Federalist 51 and Federalist 70, I think, was the two important ones, and then the other ones I don't remember for crap.
Yeah, well, he's going to assign more Federalist papers. That's why I want to go over this one, because, as I'm sure you found, it's real thick reading.
Yeah, it's not also the easiest English to understand because it's 300 or 200 years old. So.
Mm-hmm. Quite literally Old English.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Shakespeare, but it's still pretty bad.
I think I'll give people one more minute and then we'll officially start.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you guys with the course so far and everything?
I am
pretty good.
Fish out of water. I'm still confused. But
well, what are your questions? Maybe some other people have the same questions.
I don't know. It's just mostly about the inside and the articles and stuff. They're mostly answered now, but. Last week I was like, what are we doing? I don't know. Now it's a little bit better. Just finding an article. It's not too difficult. I literally just go on CNN or Wall Street Journal, just like politics, and then look it up, and then take the second to last or the second or third article because I don't want to be too easy. So take it, but sometimes it's really short. I know I've read that on I think CNN. Or no, Wall Street Journal had one about, I think the former head of the CIA backing Trump or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like a 3-paragraph summary of the events, and it was like, I'm not going to write about that because summarizing a summary is one sentence long. It's like, the dude backs Trump, done.
It's just basically the title.
Yeah. Oh no, it's pretty funny. It's oh yeah, so the former head of the CIA who served under Clinton for 2 years is now backing Trump, and they're saying oh, that's a big deal because he served under Clinton and he knows the problems with the Clinton administration or blah 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 blah. Or the guy just likes Trump. It doesn't have to have all this backlash BS.
Exactly, and Hillary's not her husband. There's people saying that they're
oh no, yeah, it's actually quite amazing how different those two people are. Just politically wise, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are not very similar at all.
Because Hillary's a bit more conservative than he is in some way.
Yeah. Well, it's really I think most people on the right just don't want to have another 4 years of the Obama administration because of the whole I don't want to go on political talks, but the way that parts of my family see it, who are conservative, they didn't like the executive orders that he was giving.
Mm-hmm.
I say it was an overuse of executive orders. We had a debate about this in AP US, so it's and he had something around, I would like to say 4,000 or not 4,000%, either 400 to 1,000 executive orders, but only 100 of them pass or something.
Yeah.
Very few of them actually pass or were used, and most of them had to do with immigration and education, very hot button topics. So that's why they're seen more often.
But do you know why he had to do the executive orders instead of...
Because Congress has been slowing down as of late. As of the last 10 years, they're at an unprecedented level of not doing a jack shit. Excuse my French. They need to do a job.
They are in a complete deadlock, exactly.
Yeah.
Because because Republicans have the majority in both the House and the Senate, so they can yeah, that bill you want to pass? No.
Let's not do that. Yeah.
We're not going to vote for that.
It's like a perfect it's like a perfect storm of just BS because in I think 2012, early 2012 up to like 2015, 2014-ish, there was a Democratic majority, but then Democrats who were somewhat conservative even voted against Obama, especially against Obamacare, because, you know, that's kind of like, it's a socialist issue here. Is like, do we want to be more similar to the European Union because the European Union's not doing so hot right now? That's more of a current topic, considering more compared to why the Congress is terrible.
Yeah, and we'll be going into that more when we're going over like party affiliation and everything, and why people ascribe to certain beliefs and why.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be working during the day of the election, so that's gonna be.
That's rough.
I'm gonna have to see all the Democrats and all the Republicans be super salty. It's gonna be great. They're like,
what do you do for work?
You basically fill out, like, you tell people what party they fall under. Like the last time when I worked at the primaries, there was a lot of NPP.
Oh, so you're gonna be working the polls?
Yeah, it was like it's like an 18-hour day. I wouldn't suggest it for anybody, but if you speak like Spanish or barely speak Spanish or barely speak Chinese like I do, just put it on there and you get paid extra $20. It's totally worth it. Just say you speak a language, because I didn't have to speak Chinese once. It was great. I got paid for doing nothing, or paid for doing the same work as everyone else.
It's like, yes, I have the skill, but no, I will not utilize it at all.
Oh no, I have the skill. It's just that no one bothered to ask me, so I.
Yeah, exactly, it wasn't utilized.
Oh no, it was the one really cool thing that apparently there was one blind guy, and everyone was surprised because that machine was never used.
Oh.
Yeah, so the voting process is like because if you don't have it, you would get sued. There's like a machine that's used for people who are like paralyzed or who can't like see, and apparently that was the first time for like the person in charge. They have never seen it used for the past like 10 years, and it got used for the first time during the primaries, and I was like, neat. That's neat. Yeah, that guy was super nice, by the way. We could take a joke. That's really funny.
Yeah, and that's probably because most times people who have disabilities, such as being blind or being paralyzed, they have mail-in ballots rather than going out to the polls, because the process of going itself is complicated and everything.
Yeah.
Well, back to the topic at hand, because I feel like I'm just leading it off to a tangent, and that's not really the best idea here. I gotta close the door because it's louder than all hell. Jesus Christ. Every goddamn piece of food out there, Jesus. Shit, but every type of chashu, like, oh, they sue my Jesus.
Are they telling you to come eat, or are they?
No, they're taking videos of the dinner and they're like saying every type of food that's on the table. I was like, they don't care, just eat it. Oh, God. It's the going away party for my cousin because he's going to UC Santa Cruz.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't get a freaking party. I go to freaking college. God. Mean people over here. I'm just kidding, no.
Family, what can you do?
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's going out of city. I'm like, oh, I'm going to college too, guys. I'm just kidding, no.
No graduation party?
Yeah, no, it's just like he's going away. It's like because we had a family member who went to like Florida for their education. Yeah, it's fun times. Fun times for everyone. But yeah, what's the topic? Did I miss it? Sorry.
No, well, how about let's start talking about the lecture. What was the current event that Professor Friedman showed? Go back to the notes.
Wait, I can't hear.
Hold on, let me get my backpack.
Look at your notes and see what was the current event that we talked about in Professor Friedman's class on Tuesday.
Okay.
One declaration of independence, natural law. Understood. This is that's a whole lot. And this is why you shouldn't use a binder because it doesn't have any freaking dividing places.
So I have a separate notebook for each class.
I know, right? I should totally do that. No, I have like a confusing notebook that's full of drawings and crap. It's like not a good idea to do.
I mean, my notebooks are full of drawings, but they're separated.
Yeah, my notebooks are full of drawings, but my drawings are like that big, so they take up the entire page.
I do margins.
Super bored. Like my doodles get too detailed. I'm like, God damn it, why am I doing this? Might as well just do that, I'm just gonna like go to the video and skip around and see if I can. I can't find the goddamn thing now.
I can't find mine either.
I'm cheating and I'm going to the video and I'm just gonna skip around and refresh my memory.
Well, you know what? You're utilizing your resources, so I can't fault you.
It's really sad because I'm like, crap, I can't remember.
Well, Elizabeth, did you write down what the current event was?
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel so bad. But you know how I'm a web student?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that we were going to be talking about the Thursday and Tuesday lectures, like the ones we do for the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Thursday test, yeah.
Like the ones where we're talking about Hillary and Trump.
Oh, yeah?
So I haven't, because what I usually do is like I watch the...
Wait, was it were we talking about like Hillary having pneumonia on Tuesday? Or is that
No, we were talking about immigration.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
part of it was because they were talking, it was the deportable, deplorable comic.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No.
Elizabeth, did you
Oh, with the neo-Nazis and stuff, yeah. Yeah, yep. That was
So what I was saying is that what I usually do, since like I have to take the exams on Monday, like before class, I watch the lectures because I forget quick.
Yeah.
I watched the lectures before the exam, and I thought that we were like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say that I thought we were talking about the previous lectures for the quiz on Thursday. So I haven't watched the lecture, and I'm sorry. Like,
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can leave if you think that I'm.
No.
No, I don't
Okay.
want you guys to feel like I'm just sitting here.
No, it's fine.
No.
You look at a
Next time I'll be
personal
like,
notes.
I'm so sorry. I really.
It's okay. I mean, you're in your web section, so you have different like timings and stuff. So it
Yeah,
totally
so
makes sense.
I do it differently. So, but now I know. I'll make sure I watch the lecture before class.
Okay,
Before
cool.
class. Sorry.
No, it's
No,
fine.
that's okay. It's a learning process for all of us.
Yeah. I didn't know what the hell to do until like Tuesday, so yeah, 2 thumbs up right there. Yeah. So yeah, well, like since she hasn't seen the video yet, but so the comment I made during the studio, if I can remember correctly, was that
You want to describe what the comic was?
the comic was too like less than I'm just gonna say this, they're white trash guys. They had the swastika on the neck, shaved bald. Yeah, shaved bald. And one of them had like Trump that bitch on his shirt, or Trump the, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, so it was a misunderstanding of words. The guy's like, Hillary thinks that we're Muslims and terrorists and stuff. She must be really sick. Another connection to current events. And the guy's like, she said deplorable, not deportable.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was that Hillary was had to like passing comment to, I think it was Barbara Streisand, who I thought was from 60 Minutes. It's not her. It's I was dumb, but yeah, no. So she made a passing comment to Barbara Streisand that like, 50%, huge generalization, gross generalization. But she basically said that 50% of all Trump supporters are racist, homophobes, other
Deplorable kind of people.
yeah, deplorable, like
Yeah, not good.
yeah, like negative phrasing towards Trump supporters, and like this got blown out of proportion. But you know, now it's like more the fact that she may be not fit for office because of her like pneumonia. But so the other topic kind of got like a little bit swept under the rug because the health of the president is a more pressing issue than, you know, some passing phrase that, you know, she might have said just as like a private conversation to like another person. So yeah, that's the gist of it. The cartoon would have been a lot faster, but yeah, that's the gist of it. That's the cartoon.
And so what point was the professor trying to make by showing this cartoon?
Like could have been like I was thinking the fact that like it could be more like I said before, it was a kind of like could have just been like a passing comment, just because we use that kind of hyperbole a lot, and generalization a lot. Fallacies is a basic part of human speech to like a friend or a passerby. Like Barbara Streisand's not a news reporter. She's a singer.
Mm-hmm.
She's a
celebrity, if anything, and one that's really not in the limelight.
Yeah, so I mean that could be a reason why Mr. Freeman Professor Freeman showed us that, is that a lot of the time the privacy of a politician is kind of in question here. Again, similarly to like the pneumonia case, where it's really her own private matters to her. Do you really want to share this information? Like, I think I could email you guys the article that I found. It was by the Atlantic. And the Atlantic was one of Hillary's aides was saying that, you know, whatever information that Hillary has like withdrawn from the public about her like physical abilities, Trump has placed no information up to the point where he was pressed on it. And even now, it's kind of like jokingly so. I think.
Well, he actually volunteered to college.
I think it was like his gastroenterologist, and it was like some kind of jokingly simplified letter. It wasn't using scientific terms or something, and it's been on like the Daily Show and stuff like that, and they were making fun of it. Like, his health is excellent. Like, it's like a doctor talks like that in a formal letter. I think I remember seeing that like a couple weeks ago, but recently there's been a new thing since the pneumonia case where the president is going to release to the public his medical records.
Well, I just saw something like today when I was looking at the like articles for the article, the news article thing that we had to turn in.
Oh, yeah,
and he actually did go on Dr. Oz and like showed his like health records. So it said that he's like overweight and just like taking pills to like help with cholesterol and stuff.
I didn't realize how like old the presidential candidates were. I thought Hillary was still in her like early 60s, but she's like 68, and Trump's 70. Like, I was like, wow, they're older than I thought they were. But you know, that's kind of like a given thing. When you're 60 or 70 or 68 and 70 years old, you're gonna have like health issues. Pneumonia is a very common disease. Like, my grandmother caught it from just like having a cold sweat at night. You know,
yeah, exactly.
But it's the media blown out of proportion.
Though, I mean, they only have like one historical case that they can like lean upon and be like, this is why we're concerned about the health, is because if you guys remember.
Oh yeah, somebody was giving a presidential speech and died during the rain or something. He died of pneumonia.
I was kind of doing the story, man.
Oh, sorry. I forgot the president's name. I was thinking. And then the vice president died too because of a different reason. Like,
What?
it was just like a string of people dying. I was like,
Oh wait, I think I remember that.
yeah, I'm sorry.
So, I'm pretty sure he was the 9th president to be elected to the U.S. president, and so Mr. William Henry Harrison, he goes out to give his inaugural address, and it's hours long. And so,
During
he
the
gets
rain.
pneumonia, and subsequently dies 9 days after being inaugurated.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This was a long time ago too, so it's like it was even more difficult to cure an illness like pneumonia. So another interesting quote that I think it was in the same article by The Atlantic that they brought up was that like you can cure a disease or you can cure pneumonia with antibiotics. Hiding documentation is a less easy sickness to cure. It's just withdrawing information, and I think that's just what the conservative or the Republican Party is just like wary of Hillary at this point. Is just because of that, which isn't that big of a deal. I don't know. I brought this up before on the other side, and I'm thinking it over now, more on like trying to think of it on both sides, because even like one of the teachers this morning brought up like if you ever looked at the conservative point of view on the 9/11 memorial, like they couldn't agree on the weather. Like the conservative side was like it was a nice day, and then like the liberal side was like it was so hot, it was like 90 degrees, and it was actually like 80 degrees. It's if you're in a suit all day, it is actually fairly warm, but it's so it's an argument like whether it's a kind of like a person by person thing. But it was really funny, like in the news, if you just keep changing stations, they were like saying, oh, it's hot as hell, or it was a really temperate day or something like that.
So you're saying this was happening on like MSNBC versus Fox News?
It was MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, like every news channel, depending on where they leant from either to the right or the left, was arguing and debating on what apparently the temperature was, and no one actually showed the temperature, which was 80 degrees.
And that just points out how inane and stupid these news sites are, because they just like to go off into these tangents into things that really don't matter.
Yeah, it was really.
They try to polarize themselves. They try to be like, we are this, and they are the other. They are evil. They are bad, which is really stupid if you want things to be united and to work.
Well, I mean, even at Sac State, they had like I think it was next to the Union. Somebody was like, destroy Trump, destroy racism. I'm like, wow. Wow. Just like, I understand you don't like Trump, but, using like hot button like words like that, just, you could just say vote for Hillary, just a normal sign to say vote for Hillary, and then try to sway me if I go to your booth. Don't put like something, boom,
But see, would you have paid attention to their booth had they just been a vote for Hillary?
No, I just walked by anyways. I just looked at him like, what the hell? And I just left. I was like, nope, not even gonna start this, because I'm gonna look like an a-hole, and there you're gonna look like an a-hole, and we're just all gonna look like a-holes. So let's just not deal with this. I was like, oh god, yeah, that was just like an anecdote from today. Like it was there. I was like,
oh.
That was interesting, I guess.
Because I remember seeing that booth last semester, so that's what I thought you were referencing. So.
No, there was just a guy standing outside with the "Destroy Trump" sign. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, I saw like a booth of like "Destroy Trump, Destroy Racism" or something.
Yeah, no, it was just like it was like a little white table. It wasn't even a booth. It was just like a white table with like voting ballots and like one giant poster of like that. I'm like, I thought you're supposed to be nonpartisan when you're talking about voting here. What the hell?
Not necessarily, because
well, when I was working at the primaries,
Trump is a really good way to motivate people to actually sign up and vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot more people from like my area, more of a Latino area and stuff like that. They're more encouraged to vote because of all the things that
I know
Mexicans and everything. So I mean, and so it's arguable on whether you think they need to be objective or not. But.
Yeah. So, like, what's the other topic that Professor I keep saying Mr., but Professor Friedman was talking about? Like,
we were just like talking about immigration, pretty much.
Yeah. What's that? What's that thing that it was like changing the voting. of citizens. I can't remember. It had a specific name for it. It was an executive order. I can't remember. It's like
You mean like what allows like the dreamer kids to stay in the U.S.?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for changing like for changing immigrants' children that were born in the U.S. and make them citizens.
Yeah, that's the
And-
dreamer.
Yeah, the dream. Yeah,
It's the Dreamer Act.
I couldn't remember the name. There was like two other ones too that we talked about a couple years ago or last year, and I can't remember. There was like two other acts that were similar to it, and I can't remember the name. I kept thinking about them. I was like, what's the name of it? But yeah, Dreamer Act, and then there was two other ones. You can look it up. They're very interesting topics. Immigration, fun times.
And so, what were like kind of a couple of his main points as far as immigration goes? How many people are coming in the U.S. and how many people are coming out?
So I remember the gold and yellow chart, or the gold and black or gray, I think was the chart at the very end. It was like 4 million $4 million Mexican Americans were coming in. That was 2004 or early 2000s was like 4 million compared to like 0.5 or half a million that were leaving. And now it's more similar to a lot more balance. It was like 0.95 or leaving, like 0.85 are coming in, and the other way, like leaving numbers are larger than the coming that were coming in for work. That may also be because California is in a drought and our food production is different because migrant workers is a thing, or it could be because of other reasons, mostly political reasons. But yeah, that's the thing that I wanted to say during Tuesday, but I never had a chance to. It's like there are other like actions that doesn't have to do with politics, that mostly have to do with like work, because if there's no work, then also because of the fact that like the outsourcing that is giving to Mexico, especially in I'm sorry, bringing on another tangent here.
You're explaining what we're talking about, so you're good.
Between the Mexicali border, a lot of companies love to put their car factories there because you don't have the property taxes of America, but you don't have like the slums of Mexico. So it's like perfect area for them. So
I'll actually be reading an article about that later in the semester. But.
So it's like, well, I remember talking about it in previous government class in high school, but yeah. So it's like that region is like ripe with like workers. So that could be another reason why like they don't. Well, we don't really have to go all the way to America to get work. There's work here. But, it's over here. Like I think like a couple days ago, I was watching on like KCRA, and they're talking about overtime for farmers.
Yeah, it recently got passed. It was really exciting.
So that's like another incentive for maybe people to legally come to the United States and look for work. But the other question is that like how long does it take for a legal because the process on paper is a very short one. So you get a green card and or visa, and then you apply you get a green card and you get a visa, or you get a green card and then you get a worker's permit, then you get a visa, and then you get like citizenship. It's like only like 3 or 4 steps on paper.
It takes several months.
It takes several months to years.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
Yeah, because one of my coworkers where I'm working, he was an immigrant from Japan, and he just came here and he studied economics, and now it's like student visas up. He has to go back to Japan, but he wants to stay for work, like wants to be a teller or a bank manager. So he's having a hard time with that visa. Now saying like he's not an immigrant from Mexico, he's an immigrant from Japan. I'm not saying there's any difference in that. It's just that like there's so much more stigma towards immigration from Mexico. I would believe that's a little bit more difficult if you're a Mexican American or a Mexican immigrant trying to come to America. That being aside, yeah, that's the difficulty there. It's a factor, and executive orders are nice and all, but they can be defuncted by the next presidency. So it's another problem there. Let me look up the goddamn act. I swear to God,
it's the worst when things are on the tip of your tongue.
Executive.
Yeah. But
you guys continue talking. Sorry.
The main points that Professor Friedman pointed out why the Hispanic people are leaving the U.S. is because he said our economy has gone down, and that in Mexico people are having like less children, so it's like easier to get work and like find like places to live and stuff. So.
And there's less people to provide for, which is the main reason to go to the U.S. or somewhere else that has economic opportunities to provide for the home and the family.
Yeah. Well, I think one topic that we didn't really touch on Tuesday, especially when it comes to immigration, is like the influx of like Syrian refugees. I know that's kind of a hot button topic.
Yeah, and actually we recently just accepted the 10,000 Syrian refugee, and that was our pledge.
Yeah.
That was
still kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I mean, we'll be seeing if Obama expands that number or not, depending on how representatives and senators react to it. I mean, of course, the conservatives are going to be against it because they're like, you're letting in terrorists, not people who are running away from terrorists. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like there's if you guys ever look at some there's a really informative video by like Govt, or in a nutshell, it's like Dutch or something. The video is not in Dutch, but the name of the channel, just look up In a Nutshell, and they have a really nice video on the whole Syrian refugee. And the whole reason I bring it up because they were talking about the number of Syrian refugees moving in the EU, and the EU has pledged like 1 million to 2 million per country. Even Germany has like 2 million, almost 3 million Syrian refugees at this point, and the United States has like a measly 10,000. So, it's kind of like, it sounds like a large number because 10,000 people, it's kind of difficult to manage, quote unquote difficult.
Yeah.
But, you're talking about a country that's 320 to 360 million people in the United States. 10,000 is like less than 0.1%. It's like, what can you do? The channel's called In a Nutshell. It's a fairly interesting.
How about you send me the link and then I can put it on Blackboard.
All right. Let's see.
And
can you send messages on Zoom? I don't think you can.
Yeah, you can do a message on Zoom. Just click chat.
I know this is being recorded for YouTube, and I'm sending another YouTube video.
No, but it'll be easier for them to go from one to the other.
Yeah. Yeah, really. This it's kind of like what's it called? PBS Idea Channel and stuff like that. It's just a very interesting. Oh, here it is, refugee crisis. Right here. This video. Oh man, it's already been a year, almost a year. Jeez, since that whole situation started. Man, it's been a long time.
Well, I mean, Syria has been going on since 2011. I mean, I could go into that, but.
Oh, dude, with Gaddafi and stuff. Yeah, I remember that. That was we made the situation worse because if you look at Syria and or is it not Libya?
It's Libya.
Yeah, it's Libya. Yeah, like the people we put in there, the quote unquote like democratic, it's not much better. Like it's literally turned into like almost a state of anarchy. Some may argue it's almost a state of anarchy. It's not as bad, but it's a whole cluster of crazy BS. Sometimes the right to choose, it's a choice of like two or lesser evils. It's kind of like, you can have this tyrannical leader, but he has like some moderate leadership skills and making it at least like, it may be sucky, but you're not dying,
Yeah.
But it's kind of like
we can talk more about Syria later. We should focus
Go
more
back.
on
I'm sorry. Yeah.
If we were doing international relations, which is my major, and I can talk your ear off about it, but not that class.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
What were the points points that the professor was making when he was bringing up the 3 stories in the article about the three immigrants in Atlanta. We kind of talked about them in the previous session on Monday.
Well,
what were some of the points that the professor was bringing up?
One was like I think it was like a girl that wanted to fight the stereotype of Mexican American women, like, or girls that are like not getting a job, they just get married after college and then they go straight into other cousin. I have like 5 different cousins. So it's like they're trying to fight against the stereotype of them going straight into like marriage and have kids. But she ended up in the same situation, and it's like, well, it's just that whole cycle again. And I think I can't remember the other 2. I'm sorry, one of you guys help me out with this, but that's one of them that I remember again. I don't remember the other 2. Sorry, I'm not remembering.
What were the other 2? Camille?
So one of them was the one with where he's from the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was the can't think of it.
Was African American, right?
No, technically he was.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna mute you real quick, trainer. So,
let's see, what was it?
But he was from Africa, yes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, technically, by coming to the States and living here, he was African American, but, whatchamacallit?
Was he from like West Africa or East Africa or something like that?
He was from West Africa. He was from Mali.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what did he do?
He was like holding multiple jobs or something, wasn't it? Yeah. I think there's like a documentary on this too, like migrant workers from East Africa, and it was East Africa, or no, West Africa, sorry. West Africa coming to the United States. There's multiples, like there's tons of documentaries on those. But yeah, a lot of them hold like 3 or 4 jobs, either part-time jobs, because it's still difficult. And, that's another immigrant issue that I didn't bring up on Tuesday because it's a long topic. But yeah, there are actually a lot of immigrant workers coming also from like West and East Africa, because that's another third world country. I don't like using that phrase. I'd rather say like less
developed country.
Less developed countries sound better than third world, like saying like, oh, it's a different alienated place. But no, it's like a developed country, and they do come here for work. It's a less, like, apparently we don't think that they're dangerous but pick and choose your problems here. But yeah, that's it's difficulty for everyone to find work. They're doing like 3 or 4 hours. A lot of them are sending money back to their parents. I think it was very similar to the situation, I think, in like I'm trying to think of the book, and I'll come back to it. I can't remember, but yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, so he was working really hard and everything, and so what was the connection of like all of these stories that the professor was trying to draw out?
That they're kind of like Americans, they're not really like different from us, and that we can't really tell like between us, like kind of, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of like the picture of the shark that he showed. Like, we're scared of it because we've seen Jaws. And so sharks are a scary, dangerous threat, even though cows kill more people a year than sharks do.
Yeah. Well,
we're not afraid of cows. We're afraid of sharks because we have this story that's available to us, and it's really like big and stuff like that. That's one reason why Americans are more likely to be scared of Mexicans and Muslims, because there are these scary stories that are associated with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're just like you and me.
Yeah. There was like the parallel between sharks and the flu, or the influenza, because
Yeah.
influenza has like a yearly death rate of like thousands and thousands of times more than sharks. But the other point that I think was similar between the three stories was that I'm sorry, I'm really like handsy today, but like the difference between the three stories was that, or the similarities between the three stories was that they are all people that are trying to look for a better life, searching for the American dream. Because if you look at the Philippines, and if you look at Mali or West Africa, and you look at the female that came from Mexico, the legal way, or or the unlegal, they're all from less developed countries, or countries that need aid, and they're trying to. It's kind of one of those connections where if it wasn't because of it, it may have been a little bit different. But yeah, all of them were people that were coming from poor backgrounds and want to come up in the world and looking for that American dream. And sadly, that's just the American. A lot of people say like American dream, like chivalry is dead. It's arguable, but that's another connection there. It's like they're trying to search for that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I feel like we've kind of wrapped up the immigration conversation. Do you guys have any questions that you want to
Oh man,
or anything?
no, the immigration thing is like probably should talk about the Federalist Papers before it gets too late.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have like
we only have
we have like
5 minutes. Yeah.
we have like 10 minutes to cover all that jazz.
Well, so did you guys have a chance to look at the annotated version that I put onto SAC-CT?
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah, probably.
Did it help at all? As far as like the Federalist paper itself?
Yeah, I think so.
I looked up at like what's it called?
Go to Spark Notes. That's
No, I didn't go to Spark Notes. I looked up like a summation of the Federalist Papers. It was like a 3-paragraph summation, because I was like, one, I don't understand Old English, so I'm just gonna
Yeah, honestly, go onto Wikipedia and look up Federalist 51, and it will explain to you what the main points are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it will draw quotes and everything. And I would say have your own copy of it and highlight those things that they mark out.
Yeah.
Especially when we do more Federalist papers later.
Yeah, don't just read like Wikipedia though. That's not.
Yeah.
Don't just do that. I'm pretty sure you've heard it time and time again, but again, don't do it. That's not a good idea.
Check your sources.
Yeah, your professor will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like a few people like last year were caught and they got like deducted points from their midterm because they were using Wikipedia.
Oh my gosh.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, no, that reminds me of when I was doing the Alpine 122 class, and I was like proctoring the quizzes for them, and there's a quiz that he does where he's asking for definitions, do 3 out of 4. These people decided that it would be okay to Google the definitions on their phones.
Oh my gosh.
The Google definition isn't always the political definition.
Yeah. Well, but I think that wasn't it the gist of the Federalist Papers was about checks and balances and like the elastic clause or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys know what the elastic clause is, right? I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure because sometimes people don't, and it's like elastic clause and enumerated rights, and I think either the 8th or 9th Amendment has to do with the elastic clause or the enumerated rights. I'm sorry.
How about you go into it and just explain it a little bit in our last couple of minutes? What are the elastic clauses?
So the elastic clause and enumerated rights. I think I may be wrong on this, but the elastic clause is to do with. I think I'm confusing myself right here. Somebody else explain the elastic clause, and I can explain enumerated rights because I'm confusing myself right now. I'm confusing them together now. But enumerated rights is like the 8th or 9th Amendment. It's basically rights that are not within the Constitution, but it's still held by the government, because Congress, you can only write so many things in the Constitution before becomes too extensive of the document, it's too situational. So they tried to go as broad as possible. So when it comes to times of war, of course, this has to do with Congress, because you can't have one man controlling the entire freaking military. That would be a totalitarian dictatorship. But, you know, or a freaking, you know, dictator. But like that. And the enumerated rights, there's enumerated rights that belong to the states, and there's enumerated rights that belong to the that belong to Congress and even the people. You know, the Bill of Rights, basically that, you know. If it's not within the Bill of Rights and it's within reason, not saying you can just go out and kill someone, but if it's within reason and you didn't do anything wrong, then it's also held within that right. The last clause, I'm just gonna give I have to look it up. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But I think it's similar to the enumerated rights. I can't really tell. I'm sorry.
No, so it's the last clause is more so that the Constitution can be interpreted in certain cases when needed, rather than having to you read the direct version and stuff like that, and only use a literal translation of the text.
Oh, that has to do with the Supreme Court then, because the Supreme Court job is technically to it's not to interpret but to carry out. Carry out the to carry out the Constitution, and it's the Congress's job to actually maybe make changes to the Constitution. And
think of like the Constitution being like, instead of just like a piece of paper, being like stretchy.
it's a living document. That's the phrase that people love to say. It's like it's a living, breathing piece of like of government. Like you're. It's not
being
just
constantly changed.
Yeah, it's not a piece of paper that's just written 250 years ago that no one cares about. It was still fairly interesting, like, because there was like the Constitution Quiz Bowl today.
Oh yeah.
There was no one there, so I decided like, let's have some fun. So I went up there and tried my best as a contestant, and I like got second place. I'm like, everybody else. Well, there's a team of there's 3 teams, and I was in second place by myself. I was like. Everybody's like, yeah, we're Team Sacramento, we're Team Stockton. I'm like, they took all the cities that are around here. I'm Team William Land Park because my house, yo. So yeah, they're talking about like I think the last congressional act that was done to the amendments was in 1992. So it's a living it's a living documentation, but it's not altered all that often because it takes like a 3/4 majority or a 2/3 majority. Is it 2/3 or 3/4?
2/3.
2/3 majority, and that's more difficult than you think.
Yeah.
Well, it is 6:50, so we have to end things.
Okay.
But I will see a couple of you tomorrow.
Yeah. If it ever happens that I am talking too much, please tell me to stop. I will.
Okay.
It's like I sometimes rant, and it's not the best thing for me. I'm really sorry. It's just,
I'll just cut you off when I need.
Yeah. Just like, Trainer, shut up. I'm like, okay, I'll shut up.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, Professor Friedman, he like posted onto his onto SACCT something about like students, like how he wants us to like download slides from SACCT, like so it's easier to follow along with the lecture. Like, what does that mean?
Oh, so that's just him giving you guys the slides on Federalist 51 so you could like print it out or something and have it with you for class, so then you're not like hurriedly writing down all of like the blocks of text in there, and you're actually paying attention to what he's saying rather than writing.
Oh yeah, I forgot if he said this, but like if I know in some different classes people have like a notebook, like an electronic notebook, not like standard notebook out, and they're like looking up information. Is that allowed? And I like because he said the whole PowerPoint thing, so I was wondering if like can you look at it or other documentation, not within the quiz, but like when he's speaking, so you can bring up points and stuff like that. Or do you? have to memorize it. I'm just
No,
wondering.
you could have technology and stuff like that. Because, yeah, I remember when I took the class, I always had my laptop out.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen anyone do that, so I was wondering, like, is there a rule against it? Because I've seen it happen in other classes. But I haven't really
Yeah,
seen it.
on Tuesday there was like a couple people who had like computers out. Like,
Also, I'm in the front row, so I can't see anything. Like,
Yeah, no, there's no explicit rule against technology, so you could bring it.
okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, have a good evening, guys. I'll see you
Any
guys.
other questions?
nope.
Okay. All right. See you.
Okay.
Best of
Thank
luck.
you. Bye.
Best of luck.